Welcome, friends. Thanks for being here today. We will be going through a full body stretch. This is designed for all levels. We're going to get started right away in a child's pose. So, making your way onto hands and knees, spreading the knees wide, pressing the hips back towards the heels, and just begin to slowly fold forward. Rest your forehead on the mat and take this moment to arrive on your mat. Maybe gently closing the eyes, tuning inwards, just fully settling into your physical body, and begin to connect to your breath. Feeling the air enter and leave your body, feeling the inhales and exhales in your chest and belly. Try to maintain a nostril breath throughout practice. If your mind begins to wander, you can bring your awareness back to your inhales and your exhales. So take about 2 or 3 more rounds of breath here. Then gently begin to wiggle the fingers slowly and mindfully as you lift yourself up onto your hands, spreading all 10 fingers wide, really spreading through the hands. Lift yourself up, round through your spine, and lower your hips to the floor. Raise your heart, raise your gaze. And exhale, shift your hips back towards your heels, moving into these wave-like movements, flowing through this child's pose into cobra, opening the hips and the lower back, opening the heart space. Just moving nice and slow, moving with the breath. And as this feels complete, come up into a tabletop positions, onto hands and knees, wrists below shoulders, knees below hips. Take some gentle cat-cow movements. Inhale, arching the back, gaze goes up. Exhale, chin to chest, navel towards spine. Good. Inhale, arch the back, heart shines forward, gaze goes up. And exhale, chin to chest, round through the spine. Continue with these cat-cow stretches. Just moving on your own, moving at your own pace. Good. Come back to a neutral tabletop. Inhale, extend the right leg back behind you, keeping the leg in line with the hip. Foot is flexed. Once you feel stable here, inhale the left arm out in front of you, thumb up, pinky down, palm faces in. Inhale to lengthen towards the top of the mat, and on an exhale, crunch in, bringing the elbow towards the knee. Good. Inhale, extend out long, and then exhale, crunch in. Good. Just moving nice and slow, and then coming back to tabletop. Moving to the left side, extending the left leg back behind you. Once you feel stable here, inhale the right arm out in front of you. Take a breath. Then on your next inhale, lengthen towards the top of the mat. On your exhale, crunch in, elbow towards knee. Inhale, extend out long, and exhale, crunch in. Good. Come back to your tabletop. Walk the hands up, one full handprint on the mat. Untuck the toes, lift the hips high, come into downward facing dog. In your downward facing dog, go ahead and walk the dog, bend into one knee and then the other, just pedaling the legs, releasing any tightness or tension in the legs and the hamstrings. Head hangs heavy, hips reach high towards the ceiling. Focus is on the breath. Good. Exhale, and then on an inhale, gaze up between the hands, walk the feet up to meet the palms. Feet come about hip width distance apart, grab opposite elbows, hang here in a forward fold rag doll, just shaking the head from side to side, releasing any tightness and tension in the neck and the shoulders, maybe shaking the head yes and no. can have a gentle bend in the knees in your forward fold. Release the hands down to the mat. On your next inhale, slide the palms up the shins as you extend the back parallel with the mat. Come into halfway lift. And then exhale back down to your forward fold. Plant the hands into the mat, step the feet back, come into downward facing dog. We'll find a couple breaths of stillness here in your downward facing dog. Knees can be bent, heels can be slightly lifted off of the mat. Head hangs heavy, really pressing through the palms. Focusing on the breath. And then from here, as this feels complete, lowering the knees down to the mat. Coming into a child's pose. Knees can be together or knees can be apart. Rest the forehead on the mat. Just taking a moment, coming back to the body, coming back to the breath. Maybe rocking the forehead from side to side, gently massaging the third eye space. And then moving into a lateral side bend, just coming up onto the fingertips, walking the hands over towards the right side of the mat, stretching the left side body, breathing space into the left side. Good. Taking the hands, walking them to center and over towards the left, stretching the right side body. Walking the hands back to center. From here, tucking the toes, lifting yourself up into a hero's pose. So sitting back on the heels, sitting on the knees. Hands rest on the thighs. Just take a moment, close the eyes here, stretching the arches of the feet, stretching the toes. And then bring the hands behind you, interlace the fingers, extend through the elbows. Gaze goes up without kinking the neck, shining the heart forward. Coming into our hero's pose, seal of yoga, and finding about 5 breaths of stillness here. Just letting the heart space open. Focus is on the breath. Continue with the calm, conscious breaths. Find ease and softness in the pose. Good. And then as this feels complete, we're going to drop a hip to either side, come back to sitting towards the back of the mat. We're going to bring the legs out in front of us. Take the legs wide, keeping the right leg extended, bringing the sole of the left foot into the right thigh, coming into our seated head to knee. We'll inhale the arms up above the head, and on the exhale, rotate towards the extended leg, fold forward. Hands can come to the shin, the ankle, the mat, or to wrap around the foot if that's accessible. Keeping the right foot flexed, forehead can meet the knee. You can round through the back, staying for one more breath. Good. And then as this feels complete, slowly rising up, we'll move to the left side, extending left leg out, bringing sole of right foot into the left thigh. Inhale, reaching the arms up above the head. Exhale, rotate and fold forward. Take a moment of silence and stillness to think of something that you're grateful for. Stay for one more breath. Good. And then as this feels complete, lifting yourself back upright, we're going to come into our butterfly pose. So bringing the soles of the feet together, allowing the knees to splay out to the sides. Hands can wrap around the feet or the inner arches. And then right away, bringing awareness to the spine. We want the spine tall. We want to feel the head stacked over the heart. You can stay sitting upright, or you can hinge from the hips here, coming down to the forearms, rounding through the back, deepening the stretch. Just remembering that this is a deep, deep hip stretch. We store lots of tension, lots of emotion in our hip area. So just know that if you feel any emotions come up for you during this pose, that you are in a safe place to feel whatever you need to feel. Focus on the sensations, focus on the breath. We'll stay for about 10 more seconds. And then, as this feels complete, taking any last final movements, shaking out the legs, maybe taking a fold. And when everything feels complete, finding a comfortable seated position or supine position so we can end our practice, bringing the hands to rest comfortably on the knees. The palms can face up for receiving. Go ahead, relax the shoulders away from the ears. Gently close the eyes. Bringing awareness back to the breath. Taking a moment of silence, showing ourselves some gratitude for showing up for ourselves today. And then on your next inhale, circle sweep the arms up above the head, palms come to touch. Exhale, send the hands through to heart center, Anjali Mudra, pressing the thumbs into the sternum, bowing the head towards the heart, relaxing the shoulders. Thank you so much for being here and for practicing with me today. The light in me honors the light in each and every one of you. Namaste.